Well, look who decided to wake up. Man, they finally decided to wake up. Also, I decided to wake up myself because I was a little disappeared from the weekend, but I apologize for that. It was a little hectic over the weekend, and I really didn't get to cover those two embarrassing games against the Blue Jays. And maybe I'll mention it at the end of this, but I think what's more important right now is this game against the Miami Marlins, because the entire game, I thought the Phillies were dead to rights. It was one of those games. Zack Wheeler was pitching a gem. He allowed 1 run. He struck out over 10 through 6 innings, and the offense was just dead. They had their chances throughout the ball game, and they weren't able to score on those. And it was just like, it's going to be one of those ball games, isn't it? Zack Wheeler is going to have a Jacob deGrom type of ball game. He pitches his absolute gem, and the offense does jack shit for him the entire night. Well, the Phillies offense decided to wake up in that 8th inning. They score 7 runs, and they bat around. Just clutch at their clutch. Guys like Ronald Torreyes. Who? Who are these guys that were bringing up the bench that are contributing? Nick Maton contributing. Bryce Harper getting a clutch hit. And Andrew Nett with a beautiful walk to keep that inning going. It's just, man. That was some fun Phillies baseball, and all that was like before even all of that, you have 2 fans running on the field. You got one guy running his ass off, trying to get away from the security, jumping over the fence, but then eventually gets tackled. And then another guy before the 8th inning jumped onto the field, didn't really get anywhere, and he got tackled right on the field. So maybe the Phillies need fans to run onto the field to wake them up a little bit. But still, that 8th inning was something to be, thank God. Just thank God. And funny, coming into this too, the Marlins have the best bullpen in baseball right now. Somehow we hit against the best bullpen in baseball. I have no idea how, but I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it, no matter what. Man, and after losing that series to the Blue Jays, I was just like, man, this team can't get it any more frustrating. And I thought it was going to be the same thing today. And it felt like it was going through that the entire ball game, but thank God for that 8th inning. Thank God for guys like Andrew Knapp, Nick Maton, Torreyes, Harper, even Gene Segura. Man, and that Alec Boehm too. Oof. Man, that was a fun 8th inning to watch. Very, very, very entertaining. Very. And just like I said, even going back to those, like bringing up that stuff from the Blue Jays series, like Saturday, Aaron Nola, even though the rest of the ball game he settled in, he had a terrible start to the ball game, and he got rocked, and the offense did absolutely nothing to help him with. And this season, we've seen a major discrepancy between Aaron Nola on the road and Aaron Nola at Citizens Bank Park. And that even shows into his career statistics. He's a much better pitcher at Citizens Bank Park than he is on the road, especially when you go down to Atlanta, the ballpark where he struggles the most. And it's becoming, in the past recent starts, a major issue so far, and Aaron Nola's got to be better. And we all hold him to a high standard. We do. We know he can pitch better. We know he can be better. But still, like, he has to be better. Like, that's basically the bottom line summary in that Sunday ball game. Chase Anderson just is flat out garbage. He is. Like, I know he had a decent start before that, but he is flat out garbage. Just that offensive outburst from the Blue Jays. And then, yeah, they fought back in the end, but it really doesn't matter. You see Joe Girardi and Gene Segura going at it in the dugout, and Joe Girardi being mad in the press conference, not even wanting to talk about it. And really, the only bright spot you can pull out of that game is Nick Maton hitting his first 2 major league home runs of his career. So, yeah, it was an ugly series, and I guess they needed some home cooking tonight, which they definitely did that in the 8th inning. So let's go over this ball game, because Zack Wheeler was just flat out perfect. Well, he allowed a run, but still beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And the Phillies, they have their chances, like I said, early in this ballgame to put some runs on the board. They get some base runners in that 2nd inning. They can't do it. They get some base runners in the 3rd inning, and they cannot do it. Literally, Zack Wheeler was this close from getting a home run. It hit the bottom of the fence, and it bounced back onto the infield. And it was just like, come on. Can we just... And there were a lot of balls like that were flying in that outfield, and for some reason they were just dying. Alec Boehm had a couple. Zack Wheeler, that double that he had, it was just weird. It just died right at the fence, and it looked like he crushed it right off the back. It looked like it was going to go into the second goddamn deck, but it died. It's like, come on. it's going to be one of these ball games where he's going to do all the work too. It was just weird. Yet Zack, like I said, he gets the double. Then you, some reason, cannot find a way to drive him in. And then the Marlins respond that next half inning as Jazz Chisholm, and this kid is fun to watch. He is absolutely electric for the Marlins. He leads off that inning with a single, Miguel Rojas. And then you also get the throwing error from Zach Wheeler to Rhys Hoskins at first base, which allows Chisholm to get over the second base. Then Rojas moves him over to third. And then Duvall gets a sac fly to drive in that run to make it a 1-0 Marlins lead. The Marlins get a couple of base runners here and there too, but Zach Wheeler, he is just doing his thing. He is dominating throughout the entire night, and the Phillies offense just really can't get anything going. Like I said, they had their innings where they had their base runners, and they couldn't find a way to get anything home. The Phillies, they do in the bottom of the seventh inning. Now they finally find a way to break through. Andrew Knapp leads off with a single, and then you come up to Brad Miller. And Brad Miller, he gets a chopper, goes to the pitcher. He is hustling down the line, and it's a very close play at first as Brad Miller is sliding the first base head first to try to beat the throw. Originally, he was called out, but it took a very long-ass review to show that he was safe, and it was a very close play, though. It did look like he was safe because if you could tell in the replay, the ball wasn't fully in the glove of the pitcher going to first base, so I think that was the move to overturn the call, and I thought it wasn't going to be overturned because that play was just so goddamn close, and I was just like, wow, the umpires actually overturned this goddamn thing. So, okay, you got Nick Maton over the third because he did a force out with Andrew Knapp, so you got one runner in scoring position, and you still have one out in this inning. Andrew McCutchen comes up, hits a deep fly ball to center field, and he gets the sac fly to tie the ball game up at 1. But then Jose Alvarado comes into the ball game, and I can understand why because Brad Miller pinched hit for Zach Wheeler, and I understand that entirely. You need to score runs, and in that situation, it worked out for the Phillies, even though it was a very close play at first base. Still, it worked out in the Phillies' favor in the end. And then the Jose Alvarado experience comes in. Birdie, he strikes out swinging, but it's a wild pitch by Jose Alvarado, which allows him to go to first base, and then he in turn steals second base, but then all that stuff doesn't matter because Jazz Chisholm on a 100-mile fastball right at his head just crushes the ball to right center field, and it goes out. And it's a 3-1 ball game. And it was just like, we finally tied the ball game, and Jose Alvarado immediately gives it up. Immediately. It was just like, okay, the Phillies are probably not going to win this ball game. It was going to be one of those nights. But thank God it wasn't. Because this is when you get all the on-field delay stuff. Top of the 8th inning, you get that one fan that ran out into the field. The bottom of the 8th inning, you get the other fan that runs onto the field during Rhys Hoskins at bat. So we go into this bottom of the 8th inning. Bryce Harper, he started off with a ground out. Rhys Hoskins gets a single. And then Alec Boehm hits a long fly ball to right field. Hits the top of the wall. Almost went out. And it scores Rhys Hoskins. And Alec Boehm gets a double out of that. He also had the same thing earlier in the ball game where it almost went out. But then it was such a hard line drive off the wall that he got thrown out at second base. So Alec Boehm, at least today, he hit the ball good. Just in that moment, he made a mistake. But this time, he got the double, and he scored the run to make it a 3-2 ball game. Odubel Herrera hits a ground ball to second base, and the second baseman has a little bit of trouble getting the ball out of his glove, which allows Boehm to go to third and Herrera to be safe at first base. Andrew Knapp gets down into the count 0-2, but then he works a beautiful at bat to make it a 3-2 count, fouling off pitches, just fouling them off left and right, taking the balls when he has to, and then he works a walk. You get the bases loaded for Nick Maton. And what does Nick Maton do? The most clutch guy of this lineup. He hits a line drive single to right field, and it scores the tying run of the ball game, making it a 3-3 game. Pinch hitter comes up, and also the Marlins changed the pitcher as well. So pinch hitter Ronald Torreyes, just coming off of the injured list, and at this moment you're not really expecting this guy to do much. But hey, Ronald Torreyes gets the fastball up and in, and he drives at the left field, scores 2 runs, makes it a 5-3 ball game. Andrew McCutchen works out a good at bat as well. He walks the bases loaded again. Gene Segura gets a chopper right up to the pitcher. Instead of going to first base, he elects to try to throw home, misses, and it scores. Nick Maton makes it a 6-3 ball game. Bryce Harper comes up, single to right field, and this is when Bryce Harper, he went down 0-2 account as well. And Bryce Harper, every time he gets down into the count, he always clutches up. He changes his batting stance a little bit to try to make that contact, and he did that exactly, getting that RBI single, scoring 2 runs to make it an 8-3 ball game. Rhys Hoskins and Alec Boehm had more chances in this inning as they batted around, but Rhys Hoskins popped out. Alec Boehm grounded out. But hey, you got a 7th-run 8th inning. You got a 5-run cushion. And Hector Neris can't just possibly blow this, which he does not. He gets a 1-2-3 inning. And the Phillies win this ball game by a score of 8-3. Man, that 8th inning was absolutely exciting. And thank God it made up for all of that ugliness offensively in the beginning of the ball game. And this was definitely a game that Zack Wheeler deserved to win. He definitely did. And sadly, the offense did not come through for him whatsoever. So Zack Wheeler on the night goes 7 innings, allows 5 hits, 1 run. It was unearned on a couple of, the errors by the Phillies because, the defense lately has been atrocious. And he strikes out 10 in his ballgame, and his ERA drops to 2.52. So Zack Wheeler, man, he has been really good this year for the Phillies. Really, really good. He's probably been the most consistent pitcher of this pitching staff. Thank God we need some consistency with this team, and Zack Wheeler has been exactly that. Alvarado comes in, only gets 2 outs, allows 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts on the home run by Jazz Chisholm. Archie Bradley comes back off the IL as well, pitches that last out of the inning. He also records the win in this ballgame as well. Gets 1 strikeout, and then Hector Neris does his job in the 9th inning, goes 1 full inning and strikes out 2. Going to the lineup for today, Andrew McCutchen goes 0-2 with 2 walks and 1 runs with an RBI. Gene Segura goes 1-4 with an RBI walk and 2 strikeouts. Bryce Harper goes 2-5 with 2 RBIs. Rhys Hoskins goes 2-5 with a run scored. Alec Boehm goes 2-5 with an RBI and a strikeout. Odubel Herrera goes 2-4. Andrew Knapp goes 1-3. Nick Maton goes 1-4 with that clutch RBI in the 8th inning. And Zack Wheeler goes 1-2 with a very missed home run. Brad Miller also got an at-bat as well, went 1-1. And that clutch at-bat by Ronald Torres, which scored 2 runs in that 8th inning. And total, before going into that 8th inning, the Phillies, I think, were 0-6, with runners in scoring position going up to that point. And they finished off the day 6-14 with runners in scoring position. They also left 9 runners on base. Man, they really needed that 8th inning. They just did. Because, like I said, the entire game offensively was just so lifeless. And, man, they needed it. They absolutely needed it. And it's a bounce back after those 2 losses against the Toronto Blue Jays. You were back to 2 games above 500, 22-20, a game back behind the Mets. And you can clearly just see the difference with the way this team plays at Citizens Bank Park and the way they play on the road. It's just an obvious, I'd say, 180. You can clearly see the difference. This team has much, even though the offense, like I said, it was dead before pretty much the entire ball game before that 8th inning. You can see how more comfortable this team is at home than they are on the road. And that's something that is also, even though they're great at home, it's still a major problem with how they play on the road. They need to be at least 500 on the road, and they're not. They're 8-14 on the road. And they just need to get better at that. They definitely do, but at least they have a nice home streak coming up with this week and weekend as well. So you got 2 more games against the Miami Marlins tomorrow and Thursday. Then you got a weekend series against the Boston Red Sox at home. So that's going to be a huge home stretch for this team. The Marlins, a division rival. They faced the Marlins 2 times in 2 weeks. They played them this week, and they played them down in Miami next week. So yeah, they're going to be seeing the Marlins a lot in the next 2 weeks or so. And then you got the Boston Red Sox, one of the better teams in the AL East, the top team especially. And I wonder if the Phillies are going to be seeing Nick Pivetta that weekend. If he's going to get a start, that would be absolutely hilarious if that in turn happens. I'm actually curious about that, if Nick Pivetta is actually going to get a start for the Boston Red Sox during that entire series. And now I'm currently seeing a bunch of to be determined. So who knows? Who knows if we see Nick Pivetta, but we're going to have Zach Eflin on the mound tomorrow for the Phillies going up against Trevor Rogers of the Marlins, another left-hander. Like, the Phillies just can't catch a break with the lefties on the mound. And then Vince Velasquez will be on the bump Thursday against Sandy Alcantara. So Win this series. That's all. Just win the series. And like in the past so many years, the Marlins have been one of the teams that have been hurt Achilles heel. Beat the Marlins. Beat them. I don't think the Marlins are as bad as they have been in years past, but still, they're a very beatable team. They are. They're a young team. Even though they made the playoffs last year, like they're just a young team. That's basically all it is. Find a way to beat a young team, and a team that has been your Achilles heel for the past 2 years. So yeah, you need to find a way to beat them and win this series because it's so huge. You need to. So, big 8th inning by the Phillies. They score 7 runs and beat the Marlins by a score of 8-3. So, it's going to do it for this video, everyone. And I have something coming up for like the next week or so where I'll get into that maybe as we get closer towards the weekend because I won't be home starting this weekend for the next 10 days. But like I said, I'll explain that more once we get closer to that date, most likely Thursday. In that recap, I'll update you guys on what's going to be happening with everything next week and so like that. So just definitely stay tuned for that. So like I said, that's going to do it for this video. What are your thoughts on this Phillies game? That 8th inning, the fans running onto the field, Zack Wheeler. I want to hear all your thoughts in the comment section below as always. So don't forget to leave those down there. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Bandit Lines, which I am a part of. Their links will be in the description below. Don't forget to check out the links to the Florida Pod merchandise website. And also for Flyers and Nitty Gritty, they will be in the description below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, everyone. And I will see you next time.